Shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praises, honor, and glory due to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakak Wadash. Double honors and to the elders and apostles of GMS Great Millstone who teach and who rule well. Shalom, shalom. And this is Brother Nabala Kodash back with another lesson. All right. And this lesson here, this is an article from People's Voice. All right. Which is, an article that I, or a website that I go to a lot, see some of the current events, as well as I go, to other websites as well. But I found this kind of interesting right here. All right. It says the UK government admits embedding anti-free speech agents inside social media companies. All right, which we're already aware of this. All right, and we already know that this is pretty much a way for them to um, try to persecute the prophets. All right, so but there's something that pretty much caught my attention. All right, and I just wanted to make a video on this real quick. So it says recently released minutes from the British government counter disinformation unit reveals that the anti-free speech agents were embedded in all major social media companies during the pandemic. All right, so we know that during the time, during the CV19. All right, I believe what the CV19 started back in I believe 219. I believe the end of 219. The beginning of 2020. All right, somewhere around March, around that time. When this whole CV19, pandemic, started to, spread like a wildfire. All right, and people were catching on. And pretty much putting information out there, that this, was planned, and this is, pretty much this was a psyop. This was all set up. All right, and when people, were taking these hits, these shots, a lot of people were, falling out, and put the, put to death. All right, over this shot. All right, and so that's one of the main reasons why they started coming out with these the anti-free speech agents and this disinformation. All right, in order to try to fight, the fact that, this job abuse was actually, killing people, man. All right. So it says, according to the minutes, senior UK officials embedded civil servants in big tech companies in order to crack down on so-called misinformation and hate speech that the British government disapproves of. All right. So, a lot of these companies, man, like Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, all these other companies, they are pretty much, working, with the British government. All right, to pretty much, crack down on this misinformation. All right, and all the so-called, false information, misinformation, whatever they want to call it. But this is the part right here that caught my attention though. It says the CDU was only one building block in the UK's CV era censorship effort. It says several military units were enlisted to participate as well. Most notably, controversially, the 77th Brigade, whose job is supposed to spread misinformation. All right, so that was the job of of these military units. Supposedly is to spread misinformation. It says, and in general, fighting psyop targets abroad, not at home. All right, so pretty much they these military units were made to spread misinformation. All right, and pretty much on purpose. All right, which it's another psychological information, to target those abroad, all right, to target those, overseas, pretty much, all right. So pretty much this, I feel, this is these devils, they could purposely be posting things, all right, as a setup, all right, as a setup, to target, certain people, all right, because there's a certain audience that they're looking for, and they're looking for people that are, quote unquote, spreading misinformation, all right. So, this is, a way that, Esau, is setting up the prophets for persecution. All right, he's using this internet, to set up the prophets for persecution, man. All right, and this is you know, perfectly planned out, by Esau, but ultimately, we know Yahweh Shema Shai, put it on the spirit, to do this. All right, so this eventually could bring forth the persecution of the prophets. All right. So, this is kind of caught my attention, man, because, they're supposed to be spreading misinformation, but yet, it's a psyop, to target those abroad. All right. But I believe, this, and it's actually facts, they're using this to try to bring forth, persecution to the prophets. Let's see. It says, also states, it says, the CDU also states that it is countering disinformation and hostile state narratives, but these are several other outfits as well as private contractors hired by the government were tasked with surveillance of British citizens and suppression of those seen Slovakia in the CV measured dissenters. It says, and so what scores of freedom of information requests have since revealed is that they went not after this information spreading foreign adversary. You see, the foreign adversary, because it's a psyop for, those that are abroad. It says, but ordinary British citizen, medical professionals, journalists, and even politicians who are engaging in legitimate, albeit critical, of the government speech. It says, regarding the lengths to which the UK was prepared to go, specifically if officials actually go embedded in social media companies. This is unclear to this day thanks to the government's refusal to provide access to reports replied by logical and private companies. And also, too, I remember they came out with an article not too long ago, how they, the government pretty much, was asking Google, for, the address, the names, the address, the names, of the people, all right, that were, pretty much, watching certain content, people that are, had a certain, watching certain algorithms, all right, they were ordered, by the government to give up the names, of the people, the addresses, where they live, pretty much all the personal information, all right. It says logically made millions from contractors with the British military of Hereford Notes, completing the pictures of the web of sometimes loosely, other times tightly interconnected entities that work hard to censor online speech. He adds, logically has a large U.S. presence and is headed by the U.S. ex-intelligence officer Brian Murphy, who worked at the Department of the Homeland Security, and we know that the scriptures talks about that small horn that came out of Britain. All right, so we know Britain and America they work together. All right, because America is that small horn. All right, that popped out of Britain. Okay, so pretty much Babylon is the little sister of Britain. All right, and so it makes sense why Britain wants to stop all this speech, this anti-speech or whatever on misinformation, and spread it abroad. All right, when they want to spread it abroad, because this is mainly where all the prophets are at here in Babylon the Great. All right, so that's pretty much what they're trying to do. They're trying to stop the men of the Lord, of exposing, the truth, exposing Esau Edom, all right, and his lies, man, all right. So that's why they're trying so hard to crack down on just misinformation. It says, meanwhile, the UK government explains its refusal to shed light on the question of whether or not its officials were directly involved with social media companies, as fears those reports would reveal its capabilities to hostile actors. All right, so at the end of the day, man, this is all a setup, man. This is all a setup, to bring forth persecution at the end of the day. And, we know, what the scripture says about that in the book of John, so matter of fact, let's get some scriptures. I got a few scriptures lined up right here. So we're going to start with the book of Psalms. All right, this is Psalms 10 and 8. It says, he setteth lurking in the places of the villages. All right, it's talking about Esau, Edom. It says, in secret places doth he murder the innocent. You see, and that's what Esau, Edom, is pretty much planning to do. With all this misinformation and pretty much is holding on, to our sayings, man. Holding on to what we say, what we post. All right, so pretty much they could use that against us, man. All right, when it's all said and done. It says his eyes are privately set against the poor. You see, privately, you see in secret. All right. So his eyes, are privately set against the poor. So this eventually this misinformation is going to bring forth persecution. All right, and they're going to use all this, as evidence, whenever we are, delivered up to the courts, or delivered up to the kings of Babylon the Great. All right. It says he lieth in wait secretly as a lion in his den. That's Esau Edom, ready, setting people up. He lieth in wait to catch the poor. He doth catch the poor, and when he draweth him into his net. You see, that's exactly this whole misinformation thing, man. It's all a setup, man. It's to catch the poor, to draw them into his net, to bring forth that persecution. Let's see if I should read the next chapter. He croucheth and humbleth himself, that the poor may fall by his strong ones. Right. You see? That the poor may fall by his strong ones, man. All right. Eventually, they're gonna bring forth, these UN troops and these, the UN military, to come in, go door to door, and looking for the men of the Lord, man, because the men of the Lord is out there, exposing these devils, exposing, these lies, man. All right. Let's see. All right, yeah, that's it on that one. All right. Let's get this here. This is Micah 2:1. It says, woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds. It says, when the morning is light, they practice it because it is in the power of their hand. Right. This is them being able to control the whole narrative of misinformation, is the power of their hand. All right, and it's iniquity, man. It's evil that they're doing, to bring forth persecution, upon the men of the Lord, man. All right, that's eventually why they're passing all these unrighteous decrees. All right, to bring forth that persecution for the men of the Lord, man, for speaking the truth. That's what it's all boiling down to at the end of the day, man. It's pretty much, Jacob versus Esau, man. Esau, has to do what he has to do, in order to fulfill, the prophecy, man, of the persecutions. All right. Let's see here. Let's get the book of John 15 and 20, and then we'll finish off with this. It says, remember, remember the word that I said unto you. The servant is not greater than the servant is not greater than Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. If they have persecuted me, they will have persecuted you. If they have kept my sayings, right? If they kept my sayings, they will keep yours also, right? You see? And so that's exactly, what these devils, are doing, man. They persecuted Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, for his sayings, man. So that's exactly what they're going to do with the men of the Lord. They're going to persecute, the men of the Lord for our sayings, for exposing the lies of Yahweh Shema Shai, reading, out of the scriptures, man, all right, and cutting this devil with the scriptures, all right. And eventually, like I said before, they're gonna hold this against us, man. They're gonna hold us accountable, to what we post, and supposedly the misinformation, but yet, a lot of these things that are happening, man, is biblical, man. It's in the scriptures, man. All right, the scriptures talk about, how Esau Edom will be made naked and bare, roughly paraphrasing, man. That he will be exposed, in these last days, man. All right. So this is all prophetic, man. This is all prophetic. It says, but all these things they will do unto you for my name's sake. You see, for the name of who? Yahweh Bashim Awashai, because they know not him that sent me. All right, you see, because they know not him that sent me. They don't know Yahweh Bashim Awashai. You see, but we know Yahweh Bashim Awashai. We know these scriptures. We know that this is prophecy that's going to take place. At the end of the day. All right. So, I just kind of found that interesting, man. How they pretty much, made it a psychological operation, and spread it abroad, to find, and they purposely posted misinformation, man, to try to find people, that, are supposedly, not, posting misinformation, you see, but at the end of the day, I'm just blowing the trumpet. That was just something that I seen, that I want to do a lesson about, through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shema Shai. All right, so with that being said, I'm going to give all honors, praises, and glory due to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakakwadash. Double honors into the elders and apostles of GMS Great Millstone who teach and rule well. All right, and this is Brother Nabala Kodash. Until the next lesson, Shalom, Shalom.